This is a rebroadcast of a past episode where we investigated a suspected Bigfoot nest site. Stay tuned as we experience rock clacking, uncover a footprint, and dive into some wild evidence.
Hello, Bigfoot enthusiasts. Scott here from Squatch America.
And Hannah, the domestic goddess in the panty wagon with a golden microphone at a very, very weird spot. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. All right. Buddy, we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about an investigation that we did last weekend.
Holy cow, we
It was
actually
really
went,
awesome.
We actually went squatching.
We went squatching, so that'll be awesome. So let's get into this.
Squatch America, we're on the trail, chasing down the mystery through the rain and hail, with a knock on a tree and a howl in the night. With Squatch America, gonna get it right.
We got a great show we need to get into because we got a lot to share tonight. We actually got a report. Actually, it's the day we traded the truck because I had to go meet a guy at a gas station.
So it's been about three weeks, three
Yep.
and a half weeks.
So we're going to be talking about Bigfoot nests. So get your questions ready. Think about what do you feel about Bigfoot nests, and after we get done with the demonstration of what we found, let's see what you think then. How's that sound?
I guess that sounds fine. I got nothing to say tonight.
You got nothing.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. So let's jump into this. So is this a Bigfoot nest? Is it?
It could be the 2 weeks after Christmas pickup pile.
It could be. Yeah, it could be.
Kind of hard to tell from that angle.
All right. So I'll show you the video that
Why don't you tell them the story of the video?
okay. So
Let's start at the very beginning.
Start at the
A
okay.
very good place to start.
All right. So at the very beginning, that's not a good shot. Here we go. A gentleman, and I haven't got permission to say who he is yet, and he was very kind of standoffish about the report. He was worried.
Guarded. He was guarded.
He's guarded. Put it that way. So anyway, he had saw our truck running around town for a while, and he kind of hesitated to show us what he had found, but he finally got the courage up and emailed me, and I met with him, and he showed me a video on his phone, and I was just in awe of it. And the story goes that there's this area that, and we'll be talking about it, but in the area that he hunted last year, he did deer and elk hunting, bow hunting in this area, and he guides in this area, so he knows it really well.
He's in his probably late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Old guy of the woods.
Yeah, Native American too.
Native American,
So-
old man of the woods type. Not some, hey, we were out drinking and partying in the woods
Yeah.
and we heard some crap. Yeah, not that kind of guy. at
Not
all.
that. So
I mean, he knew his way around the woods.
right. So he showed me the video, and I was really impressed with it. So here's the deal. Last October, this was not there. And like I said, he knows this area of the back of his hand. This spring, he went back and was mushrooming in the same area. Mushrooms a big deal here in Eastern Oregon. Most morel mushrooms in the world come from here. But they, and he found this, what he could only explain as a nest. So there's that. So wasn't there last October, was there this spring, and we'll get into the rest of it in a bit. So here's the original video that he sent us.
Now here's this little structure. Take a look inside this thing. It's actually a pretty cool look. It's kind of strange that all the stuff on it, piled on it, is all green. 90% of it green. And this stuff was piled on there on purpose. You can tell by just looking at it. See inside it there again. Little compartment. I don't know. I know this thing wasn't here last fall when I was up here archery hunting. And it's quite obvious these things were laid in place on purpose, just the way they are. With green boughs, still green, cover everything up.
So this is the area it's in. See if my laser pointer. Why my laser pointer works?
I would, if I were you, not you, of course, you are the master and the expert here. Did I say that out loud? I would describe how it was that we had to get there.
Okay.
Just describe.
Yeah. Okay. So this is near a town called Unity, and we talk about the Wallowa-Whitman National Forest, the Blue Mountains of where, you know, there's been Bigfoot reports forever. This is the part of the Blue Mountain Range. It's the southern end of it.
Could you drive your truck in there pretty easily where we were?
No, I could not. Anyway, so it's along a place called Burnt River, which flows out of here and then goes towards Idaho and ends up in the Snake River. But this is the South Fork of the Burnt River area. And so there's quite a few miles of driving on dirt roads. And then we parked and then we hiked, quite a ways down off a hill down to, okay, so there's that. Let me jump ahead here. I'll show you something.
You might want to acknowledge people making comments.
Okay, we will.
And that video was from last March.
Yeah, the video was from last March, and this is what this looks like today. Of course, it dried out for a while. And so the gentleman covered up by our logo over there is the guy we've been talking to. But this is what it looks like today. Of course, it dried out from March, of course, and it's been pretty hot this summer. And so this is the entrance. What was I going to say? I was going to say, Pyromatic said, when animals bed for a while, it loses several pieces of hair. I would take a hand vac and a dryer sheet over it and see what we can find. Absolutely, that's going to happen. This last weekend, we went up and checked out the area, found out where it's at and all that jazz. Did a quick little recon, took some photos, but we are actually going back next weekend.
This weekend. As in 2 days.
As in 2 days, and we're going to actually camp out in that area for a couple days. So there's that. All right, so
Donna would like to know how tall it was. Or are you just going to get into all that?
We're getting into that here shortly. Okay. So this is the entrance into it. If I was to measure it, oh, look, Donna, there it is. We measured the height of it. It is actually 5 feet tall.
Now, I'm going to interrupt you because earlier in the comments, someone suggested that, I don't remember who it was, but they said, I don't think they would have put heavy pieces on top like that. So make sure you address that.
Yeah, we're getting into that too. Okay.
It was Paramedic who said that.
Heavy pieces on the top.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I don't think it's a person, and we're going to get into that right now because if you look, yeah, we're actually getting into.
He's got it all.
Lockbeard said hard to see, but it looks like those branches were sawn or limb lopped. All right, here we go. You want to see the ends of the branches? That's the next thing on the list. If I get there, every single limb is snapped. There is not one limb that we found that was cut, sawn, lopped off. They're all snapped, all bent and snapped.
What about twisted? Any twisty ones?
I couldn't really tell. But what really is interesting is a lot of these are 4 to 6 inches around. People do not put a 6-inch or 4-inch log to their knee and snap it. They are all, yeah, Pyramid said they appear to be all dead when broken, not twisted. But here's the deal. These were, if you saw the video, they were green. When he originally found it, everything was still green. All the limbs still had the needles on them. The needles were still green. Of course, we're months later going back to investigate it. So all the limbs are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches long around. And trust me, I measured every single one of them. And the smallest one I found is 2 inches around.
Yeah.
And like I said, we looked at the end of every single one of those limbs.
Yeah, they took their good old sweet time doing it. I got bored, which was part of the problem.
And yeah, they're all broken.
And there was definitely an entrance and it was definitely a structure. It wasn't just a chance pile of stuff.
Right.
I mean, there was an entrance to it.
Right.
And
so here's the back of it, and here's the front of it. You can see the entrance right here. But these are all woven together too. That's another odd thing. This is the back. This is the front. It's got this entrance right here. But inside it is open. It's not like this was piled up. I mean, because there's actually, it's like an igloo. You can go inside it and it's open on the inside. And if you look closely on the inside, of course they're all dried out now, but there was a whole bed of fir boughs, and I've done this when camping. You can take fir boughs and pile them up. They make a mattress. And that's exactly what was inside this.
Lockbeard asks, were they not pushed by loggers' machinery?
Well, that's one of my point is the logger machinery would have piled them up. They wouldn't have made an igloo out of it. It wouldn't be open on the inside.
And they don't log this area either.
Yeah, and this area hasn't been logged in a long time because 2017 it burned. There was a fire in 2017. This whole area was burned. And another thing too, we walked circles, like spiral out from this area. I'll turn it up. Okay. Anyway, so there's a spiral coming out. We walked a spiral away from it, trying to find where these limbs come from, and I didn't see any trees that would match them, basically. Of course, I could be missing stuff, but I don't know. So there's that. And another thing is...
You're not clicking.
There we go. They're woven together. Everything is, meshed together. They're not piled. They're woven. Like one is twisted through and bent around another one.
Where the whole thing was placed was really interesting too.
Yeah, it was a couple 100 yards from. No, not even that far. It's about 50 yards.
50 yards.
50 yards from the river.
It was right next to a circular grove of trees, which was sheltered.
Yeah. And it had like a fence of these down logs. I don't know if you can see it in the photo here, but There's a down log right here. And there was another one over here to the left of it, and one to the right too.
Coming from an absolute clueless whatever. I mean, when I go into these places, I am not thinking like a Bigfoot researcher. I'm thinking like a toki toki, here I am in the woods. It's true. And I got to that spot. I went, they've marked this area off. It looked marked off.
Right. And Mopar Bill says game funnel possibility, very much possibility. Another thing was, is there a game trail nearby? There was not. Like I said, there's a creek close to it, but no game trail. And that was very interesting.
There were lots of critters there.
Yeah.
Howley one.
But actually, we're into time to take a break. So there's a lot more. In fact, the very next slide you're going to see is very interesting. So, and it's one that the guy didn't pick up on, and I noticed it, and then I went back and watched his video, and it turned out to be really cool. So
imagine having high-speed internet no matter where you are. With Starlink, that dream is now reality. No more buffering, lag, or limited access. Starlink connects you to ultra-fast, reliable internet anywhere on Earth. From seamless streaming to intense gaming and productivity, Starlink empowers you to do it all. And here's the best part. Sign up using our exclusive link and get your first month free. Don't miss out on the future of internet. Click the link in our description to get started today. Starlink, revolutionizing internet, one connection at a time. Join now.
all right, so Donna just asked, was the area flooded at some point causing beaver dams? Actually, yes. This whole area was underwater. Oh gosh, was it 5 years ago? There was a bad flood in the area. But like he said, this wasn't here last October, and it was here in March. So the flood was years ago. But you can still walk around the forest because it burned and then it flooded the year later. So there is a lot of, you can see where logs and stuff are jammed up against trees and stuff like that. But none of this stuff we were looking at was part of that.
This had way too much design.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing. Let's jump back into our shots here. Anyway, let me get over here. This here is a 6-inch tree, and that's a root ball. And this tree was alive when it was put in this structure. It was literally pulled out of the ground. And when I went back and watched his video, I got a clip out of it, and it still had mud and dirt on it. And there was a tree limb right here that's not there now. I don't know what happened to that. Between the time he did his video and now, there's a missing tree. And when we go back, I'm going to look and see if it just slid off or fell or wind or whatever. I don't know. But this root ball here had dirt on it, and it doesn't now. So I don't know who can pull a 6-inch tree out of the ground. It ain't me. So everybody's saying, wow, that's cool. Yep. That's what I said. Wow.
Pyromedic says beavers don't mess with pine that I've seen. It doesn't taste good to them, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Most beavers take down birch trees.
Oh, I like this.
This is a shot of his video next to the entrance that we shot. I tried to line up with his video pretty close to what I did. I got closer than he did. But other than that, there's the entrance. Now, I did not crawl in this. Main reason, because of what Pyromedic said, hair. I didn't want to contaminate or anything this area until I could come back with the proper equipment that I had. I mean, I had some of it in my truck, but that was that was a long
That was a mile up.
that
the
was a
hill.
mile up the hill to get back to my truck. But I'm gonna backpack down like vacuum, tweezers, evidence bags, my DNA kit, all that stuff.
Lockbeard, you're so impressive, my friend. He says that's just a normal 6-inch tree is just a normal Tuesday.
Yeah, there it is. That's because manly man. All right. Okay.
Whatever happened to that show?
What?
Men.
I don't remember that. It went away. Okay.
It's a funny show.
And so have we encountered things like this before? Yes, we have. As a matter of fact, just after this, just a couple of days ago, I had another gentleman, a retired police officer actually, contact me and said he found a nest on this other mountain quite a ways away from this one, but still in the same mountain range. So there's that. We found this one here.
Oops, sorry. I'm
Charlie
commenting. Leave me
Sheen.
alone. Just talk.
Okay,
You're
anyway.
seriously distracted.
Anyway, so we found this one here. It's in the same mountain range. Oh gosh, quite a few years ago. 4 years ago, we found that.
Oh, that was over in the Eagle Caps.
Yeah, that was in the Eagle Cap mountain range. We found this one, which was similar, woven together, big trees broken, nothing sawn. But this one had been there for quite some time.
In fact, some of the trees had re-rooted and were growing.
Right. They got that, what they call compass growth after it's broken and it grows, it keeps growing. So that one was really interesting. That was up in an area north of where we're at right now, kind of close to where there was an old TV show years ago or movie, Clint Eastwood movie called Paint Your Wagon was filmed in that area.
Ooh, Lockbeard has a thought.
What's this thought?
But none of these nests look like something a Sasquatch would be able to fit inside of.
Well, this one was probably 8 feet around and 5 foot tall, I think.
And it depends on what you're using it for.
Yeah, and Donna got a ding, ding, ding on my thought. I think they're birthing nests. I think what they do is like chimps and gorillas, you know, they make nests. A lot of gorillas just make nests all the time for no reason, just to lay in, but they do make birthing nests. And my thought, these show up in the springtime. So I wonder if they time their births in the spring, you know, so the babies have time to get bigger before the winter hits.
Well, that makes sense. That's what other mammals do. Mopar Bill wants to know if this was private land. No, it's
no,
not.
it's not. It's in the
National
National Forest.
Well, Whitman National Forest.
Yep. So I'm wondering if they're birthing nests. I'm kind of think that could be some kind of sheltered place where they can have a baby and take care of it for a day or two.
And man, you might not understand this, but giving birth is not something that really any species wants to do out in the open.
Right. So there's that.
Not even turtles do that.
So I got something for you. By the way, I forgot to say, stay tuned towards the end. We got more. So, but wait, there's more.
Do I get Ginsu knives with this presentation?
Yes, you do. Okay.
How about a free weekend in Cabo San Lucas for listening to this damnable timeshare advertisement?
Yeah, there you go. Back to the issue at hand.
Mopar Bill says, was thinking if you could ride a trail bike or electric bicycle and it would make it easier and faster.
Probably not where we were at because the terrain is just
and it's
straight up
like,
and down. And,
and massive like gopher holes, and it's not.
Well, they're badger holes.
Whatever. So Lockbeard asks this question: Were all Were all of the branches from the same species of tree? If so, which species?
They were not. There's actually in this forest, there's two species of trees. There's Douglas fir and white fir, and that's the two that they were. Or I think there's sometimes there's spruce too, but it's mostly Doug fir, and all these limbs are pretty much Doug fir, except for a couple saw woven in there that was white fir.
I like your theory.
All right, so moving right along.
Doogadoon, doogadoon.
There's more. So the gentleman we were with went down to the river, and I had suggested we go down and take a look if there's anything around the water area. And lo and behold, we found of course, there's a lot of pine needles and stuff on the ground. There's a lot what's called forest loam. So footprints don't usually stay there. It's really kind of spongy, basically, like bedding almost. But we did find this footprint, if you can make that out.
It was actually pretty visible when you were there.
Yeah, when you're
looking at
there,
it.
photos don't do it justice. I missed a little bit with my my tape measure the back of it. After looking at the photo, I'm like, oh, it's actually back here. But so it's around 11 inches or so. So we did find that. There. We are actually going to cast that when we get back there. I'm pretty sure it's still there because it was dry as a bone. It hasn't rained since then. So we're going out Saturday and coming back Sunday. So we're going to spend the whole
We're
2
going to
days
end
there.
the camp with our new truck, and boy, Scott is almost done with his modification. At least this round of modifications on the truck, and he is chomping at the bit to get done so he can film that for you.
Yeah.
It'll be the virgin voyage of what he wants it to do.
Yeah. So, but wait, there's more.
Now is it my turn for the Ginsu knives, or
Yes.
or the weekend in Cabo San Lucas?
All right, there is more.
There's a whole documentary on this guy. It's
Yeah, I know.
really very interesting.
Yep. So,
Oh yes, this is where it really got exciting.
yeah. So this is where it gets really exciting.
But we got two things there.
What?
Yes, Danny, there was just one print.
Just one print. Like I said, the forest there is sponge.
And based on, hold on just a minute. Based on where the print was it that you think is the left or the right foot? Because it was going.
It was the
going up.
downriver. So
So
it was the
right foot. It was right on the creek bank.
Right on the creek bank. So the next foot
Would
could have
probably
been
be
in the
and
water.
at that time of year, the water would have been much higher.
Yeah.
So
that's the only reason that footprint was there, is because it was the closest to the water without being in the water. So Pappy Two Bears says,
finding the tracks adds support to structure use. Yes, it does.
yes, it does. So here's the other interesting thing. All right. This is back up to the road. Like I said, you can see on the right side of the photo here that it is straight down. That structure straight down this hill. About a mile.
I loved what he called it. It was an easy hike in.
Yeah. It was an easy hike in. Not so much out. But anyway, so it was straight down this hill about a mile off the road, down to the river. So, like I said, this is pretty straight up and down. So
Keep talking.
we got back to the truck, and due to the thing we had with the dog, we got to the truck. I
My
started.
Facebook page, yes, and actually, I do have a longer video which I'm going to put up on Patreon.
Okay,
There you go. a
there you
video
go.
for
It's
our
it's
patrons.
going to be on the patrons.
But the short version, the Cliff Notes version, is on my Facebook page, Hannah Burko Violet.
Yeah.
Go
So
back to Monday and you can hear it.
so we had gotten the truck, and then we shut the truck off. We started the truck, shut it off, and was waiting. Okay.
Patty, you're right. That is a fall and break a hip hike, which is why I had the dog with me to begin with, because I kind of use her like a trekking pole.
Yeah. So there's that. So anyway, and we slammed the car door, and then we heard what I have come to know as rock clacks. So I immediately grabbed my baseball bat out of the truck. And actually, you can see the little damage on this tree. Sorry, but
Sorry, Tree. Thank you for your service.
thank you for your service. I did some tree. Well, I set up my audio recorder first, of course, and then I knocked on a tree. So you might have to listen closely because I had to enhance it because it was a long ways away, but my recorder did pick it up. So you'll hear me do 3 tree knocks, and then for about the next 4 minutes, the woods to our north
Came alive.
came alive. It was very interesting. And there's at the end there's a squirrel chatter, and then right after the chatter was the last knock we got. Okay, so here we go. That was our, and it didn't end there actually.
No, and I even took some video. You have not even analyzed my whooping video, have you?
I have not. So we haven't even got to that yet. But anyway,
I
that
do
was
the
that
best
was not actually, Hannah asked if that was looped. It was not looped. That was all just straight time. I don't know how many.
We lost count.
We lost count of how many rock clacks there were. What happened after that was I grabbed some trail cameras, hiked back down off the hill by myself to set them up in the woods down there by the structure. And then while I was away, Hannah was sitting on the tailgate of the truck, and she whooped a couple times. And she would sit and count how many clacks she got.
At one point, I think it was 16 or 17 in response. And
yeah, and I love what Papa said up here. Where was
Pappy.
it? Pappy.
Right there.
There it is. It says, sounds like a sentry letting the others know that you had come into the area.
And
I am so down with that. I really agree that they do have sentries.
sentries, yeah. Well, and that's not the only thing we heard, because when we were having the dog drama,
Fly in here.
there is a horrible fly in here. When we were having the little bit of dog drama, we heard some things. When you went back to put those trail cameras up, you said while you were down there, there was a tree fall, like,
Yeah, but yeah, when I was down there sitting across the creek from us, so it was about 100 yards away, I heard pop, pop, crack, and a large tree crashing down. Um, now, can I say Bigfoot pushed a tree down in the woods? No, but I can.
there was an inordinate amount of activity.
Yeah, there was. We also at one time heard a coyote yipping like it was dying.
Yeah, mortally terrified at least.
Yeah, so we actually chased after it. We chased down, and the gentleman that was with us did get a glimpse of that. There was a coyote. It wasn't.
It was a pup.
It was a pup. It might have been lost or something, but when we finally got to it, it ran away. But it was standing on the hillside, just wailing.
So Lockbeard said he didn't hear anything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Scott is going to be putting together a video with all that, are you not?
I am. Like I said, but this is the best I can enhance those. If I get it any louder, you can't hear it. I might have to isolate just the knocks
Yeah.
and turn them up. I don't know.
We
The
should've-
best thing to do is if you can go back and replay this and jump ahead, and if you can get yourself in some headphones,
Yeah.
then you can hear
I
it.
had to hold them up to my ears like this to hear things.
But when you're there, and
oh,
not
it's so clear.
so clear.
And I think that's our recording equipment. There are so many subtle frequencies that our ears can hear. The recording, the recording devices that we have.
Yeah, and I've got a good one. I got a Tascam dual mic recorder.
But even so, it's not like I'll just say, something that I said on, because I was videoing as I was whooping and listening, and the thing that when I was getting the clacks back, what stood out to me was that I thought those could be gunshots, but a gunshot has an echo to it.
Yeah.
These did not have an echo.
Yeah, it's like a dead thud.
Yeah. And we do want to say, do we want to say the activity that was going on the trails above us that we thought it might be attributed to? Just so they know we're doing our due diligence.
Okay, there was after this whole incident, there was a four-wheeler drove down the road that came from that direction. So after we left the area, I actually backed up and turned around and went further up the road
to see where they come
and
from.
I was looking at my GPS map to see where that four-wheeler could have came from, and the road went to the left up the hill and then to the right down the canyon, and where we were hearing it was to the left.
Yeah, it was
So it was off limit.
the opposite direction from
where they were riding.
So we kind of thought they were playing with us, but they weren't. All right, Pappy says, I am convinced that some of these big guys will make distraction noises or movements to draw attention away from the others to allow them to remain hidden or move away. Intelligent survival tactics. And Renee agrees with that.
And I agree with that, because here's the thing. We first heard a tree knock right after we had chased the coyote away.
Yep.
And it was a lot closer to where the nest structure was.
Yep.
When we heard that first knock.
In fact, we turned to it and said, that's right over there by the nest.
That's right over there by the nest. And when we got back to the nest, we didn't hear anything until we got back to the pickup, and I slammed the pickup door. Then I heard the other knock, and then I knocked on the tree, and then we got that barrage of knocks. So
it was very interesting. I don't think I've never been with you on such an active investigation.
Right. This is, I would have to say, the most active time I've had since I actually had my sighting.
Mhm.
So
So, oh my gosh, we are 15 minutes out.
15 minutes in.
Holy
So if you
cow.
got any questions, get them ready.
Happy says it makes him think that the area we're talking about is a longer term habitation area worth return investigation. We're actually going on Saturday.
Yep, Saturday we're going to be back there, and we're going to spend the weekend camping out there. And if things continue the way they are, we will be spending a lot more.
Yep. So anyway, so now you know what we're up to.
Danny asks,
do infrared night vision scopes repel Bigfoot? We think possibly.
I think possibly yes. There is a theory that some IR can. I know that IR can be seen by some animals. They have proven that.
Don't you have a whole show on that?
I have a whole show on that. Go back and look at our video on glowing eyes. So, but there's a.
Ow.
Sorry. Oh, I just got a cramp in my leg. Anyway, so
He
there's.
doesn't drink enough water.
I've been drinking ice cold water out of a beer stein, as God intended. So anyway,
You need to drink about 8 of those every day.
but we do believe that Bigfoot can see the IR, and that's why they avoid trail cameras, because they can see the IR. It's like
Yeah.
a spotlight to them. But not thermal scopes, because they work a whole different way. They don't
Are the
emit
trail
anything.
cams you set up IR or thermal?
They're IR.
Oh.
So there it is. I think personally it would have to be a birthing nest. And another thing, look at this. This is really cool.
That's really cool.
I never noticed that before. This is twisted around that one. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and we're gonna do detailed. I'm probably gonna do like a detailed drawing of the way the logs are woven, so we can get a great perspective of how everything's put together.
You're going to show them your sketches?
I am. I'm going to do archaeology. Wait a minute. That's what I did for a living. Okay. So, yes, we're going to do some archaeology on it, just like our digs that I did in college. So, as always, we need you to like, comment, subscribe.
Share the heck right out of this.
Yep.
All right. So remember, our job is to investigate the unexplained.
Not to explain the uninvestigated.
So until next week, thank you so much for watching and for putting up with us and for supporting us and being so loving. We do love you all. So until next week, thanks for watching. We'll see you then. You keep watching
and we'll keep squatching. And I lost the thing.
Again.
Bye.
Bye.
That damn Sasquatch.
They're squashing, they're searching, they're cracking some jokes. It's Scott and Hannah, your Bigfoot folks. From campground to